Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist, and in today's reading, we are going to be getting messages from the planet Mercury, the archetype of the divine communicator, the divine messenger in our lives, and what this Mercury Retrograde cycle that we are about to enter into on May 10th is asking us to look at, to understand, to learn, and to grow through. So as you guys all know, the retrograde cycles are a major passion of mine. Understanding them, finding the lessons, finding the ways that we can work with the energy, with the aspects that are made, with what is going on out in the cosmos and what these planets are trying to teach us. Because to me, they're my guides. They are like my spirit team. They speak to me, they flow through me, they help me understand how their energy works. They guide me to where it is that I need to do my research and how to learn about them and how to see the correlations in my own life so that I am able to better formulate a means of awareness in the world through collaborating with them. Now, I have felt this calling of a Facing Your Fears video for months, actually, since all the way back during Pisces season. And at the same time, it was kind of like, it's not the right time. I'm not really sure this is it. Is the collective ready? Am I ready to sit down and do this? And when I pick decks, when I choose decks to use for my readings, lately I have not been looking unless I am hearing a specific deck. In my clairaudience, I will not look. I will say, guide my hand. And it's almost as if the boxes just kind of pop out. It's not quite that way, but it's this almost tangible electricity that I can feel for what it is. Now, these are new cards that I have for the pick a card. These right here, they are Harry Potter Magical Meditations. And I am so excited, first of all, to use these cards here because, as you guys all know, I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd. And this is one of the best ways to bridge communication because I've read the book so much, but I've also broken them down philosophically in the structure of, the hero's journey and mythological ideas and good versus evil. Things like that, the common themes that we have in our lives, the fears, the strengths, the way that we overcome. And that was what came out today for you when I was asking Mercury what messages. I had every intention of each one of these piles having a different card so that there was a variety. And for every single pile, battling our fears flew out. So I really hate making these intros super long, but something that is absolutely important to understand is Mercury begins his retrograde in the sign of Gemini, which rules the third house, the house of communication, of siblings, of cousins, of our thought process, our intelligence, things that we learned in childhood, our conditioned beliefs, our conditioned understanding, our conditioned awareness, all resides within that third house. It's also the house of intellectual thought made into form through, say, like writing, journalism, communication. There is a lot of heavy emphasis right now in the world, and especially in America, on journalism, on the validity of someone's words without any backup, whether that lends credence to the person's credibility or not, especially with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case. Now, I have my own opinions on that case. and I'm not going to weigh in on it here. However, if you want to know, let me know in the comments and we can talk about it. But something about that trial that has come up that Mercury is asking us to become aware of is it's all about appearances. So we have Mercury retrograde hitting a critical degree in Gemini, which means it's a hyper-emphasized degree. It's a hyper-emphasized energy. This is going to be a more powerful calling for us to really dig into the lessons. As Mercury moves backwards, it's going to cross back over into Taurus. So we're going to hit 2 critical degrees in Gemini, the 4th degree and the 0 degree. So those two, when Mercury is in Gemini, this is really, really asking us to pay attention to what our thoughts are, what we tell ourselves, and how we form our beliefs and opinions based off of our past, our childhood, our conditioning. When it hits Taurus, that's when those questions, that anxiety, that stress, that frustration, that realization, all of that is going to shift into this evaluative manner of how does it shape my self-worth? How does it shape my opinions of my self-esteem? How does it build me up or break me down? How does it dictate what I believe that I am able to own and possess and have in my life? How does it shape the way that I view money? The things that I have inherited from my family and from my childhood? How does it shape the way that I move in the world? Does it make me more stubborn? Does it make me dig my heels in? Or does it make me want to learn a new way, to learn how to fuel my anger and my frustration into something creative, something beautiful? How do I do this? How does all of the lessons from the past, I think it's a week or so, maybe 2, how do these lessons shape and meld me here in this aspect of my life? And with Mercury coming back, we have the North Node sitting in Taurus, and with it sitting in Taurus, I was not at all surprised to have the Dragon Oracle cards be ones that popped right out, because the North Node is seen as the head of the dragon, and the South Node is the tail of the dragon. So this is about what we believe our path forward is, our destiny is, where we are headed, why we are headed there, and really asking ourselves, what is it that's hindering us and what is helping us? We're going to dig deep into the specific fears, the specific issues that are underlying those fears, or what is helping them. Whatever it is that Mercury wants you to become aware of for this retrograde season, that's what we're going to be talking about here. I want you guys to take a few deep breaths. Look over the cards and intuitively or receptively be led or choose what pile is right for you. We have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, and the timestamps will be in the description box below. I will see you guys at your piles. Hello, pile 1. Your 2 cards from Mercury retrograde are battling our fears and personal growth. As I was sitting here tapping into the energy, I heard the question, if I change, will, and then it kind of trailed off, and there was a multitude of different ways that was finished. Will I still be lovable? Will I still have the people in my life? Will I lose everything? Will I lose everyone? Will I be able to make my dreams come true? Will it be worth it? Will, over and over and over again, these questions of, is this worth it? And it is almost as though those questions have become autopilot for you along this journey. And what I'm picking up is, a lot of the time you don't realize that you challenge what you're doing because you still do it. You still grow through it, but you're still challenging it. And until you understand and you recognize and you become aware of the fact that you are still challenging every step of the journey, you can't understand what fear is underlying that and then what the root of that fear is. And I will always say, in order to overcome our fears, we have to face them, we have to acknowledge them, and then we have to dig down deep and find the root of the fear so that we can pull it out. Just like weeding a garden, if you pull it at a weed from the top, if you just cut it off or break it off or pull it and don't give any credence or any thought to the roots that are deep into the ground, you're not actually pulling the weed out. The roots are still there. They're still choking the roots of the flowers that you're trying to grow. They're still cutting off other things. They're still blocking things. So we have to find the root of our fears in order to really, really yank them up and get them out of us. And Mercury is here to say it's time to dig down into those roots, into those things you don't want to look at, into those things that you think that you have overcome. And it's not that you haven't overcome a lot. It's that it's an incomplete kind of overcome. And as incomplete as it is, there are still roots that are within that are choking certain aspects of your blessings, your gifts, your abilities, your faith in yourself, and especially your personal growth. So let's take a look at the cards and find out a little bit more. So battling our fears. It says, in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1, Harry tries to leave the burrow to start the hunt for Voldemort's Horcruxes on his own. Luckily, Ron finds him in time and talks him out of it, knowing that Harry will need him and Hermione to complete his quest. Harry eventually relents, accepting his friend's help and returning to the house. Sometimes the best way to handle a challenging situation is to accept your friend's help. Have your friends ever stopped you from making a hasty decision or offered help during a difficult time? Did you accept? Why or why not? Do you think things would have been different if you had made a different choice? So I'm going to move this up here. There we go. In case you want to screenshot those questions for journaling. And then I'm going to pop them over here just to keep them on the side. All right, we'll talk about that, but I want to see the personal growth aspect first. It says, every great wizard in history started out as nothing more than what we are now, students. If they can do it, why not us? Harry Potter, from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. We all start out as students in life. Reflect on what you were like as a student. What were some key lessons you learned in those days, and how have you used them to grow into the person you are now? Or if you are still a student, think about what you learned in the earlier years of your education and how those lessons helped form the foundation for the kind of student you are now. Okay, I'm going to again move this up here. Sorry guys, this is not the easiest way. But if you want to go ahead and screenshot that, feel free. So, like I mentioned, Mercury is retrograding through Gemini. And as Mercury retrogrades through Gemini, Gemini rules the third house. Even if you know where Gemini is in your natal chart, you're going to have an influx of wherever it is in your natal chart with that third house energy. And that is something that you can gain more awareness of, is the lessons that you learned in your childhood about how to think about yourself, how to think about the world, how to think critically, how to really consider it, how to communicate with others based off of your interactions with your siblings, with your cousins, with your friends, with your, with school children when you were younger. All of these things are impacting a specific placement in your natal chart. So for instance, for me, depending on the house system, it's either falling within the 11th or the 10th house in most house systems. I tend to use whole sign systems, so it would be in my 11th house. As such, the 11th house is your dreams, your hopes, your wishes, your goals, your ambitions, the things that you want to be and see in this world. But it also is about your community, your groups, your large friendships, and your placement within the world, and how you can bring your hopes and dreams into a world to help it. All of that is an area that ends up being shaped and impacted by things that happened in my childhood. My hopes, my dreams, my wishes are all fueled from things that have happened in my childhood, ways that I have overcome, and the ways that I want to help others. Now the question is where in your life does this fall? And you can check your natal chart at astro-seek.com or astro.com. There are a multitude of ways to find your natal chart. But what this is asking is really to evaluate the friendships that you had when you were in school. How have you seen yourself in the realm of school, but in your interpersonal relationships with that? Have you had a lot of friends that are kind to you, that help you? Are you capable of asking for help, or are you very stubborn and saying this is the only way that I can do it? And with the North Node in Taurus, there is this innate tendency to be like, no, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it this way because this is the way. It is the only way. It is my way. It is this person's way, and this person has done this and it succeeded with this, and so that has to be the only way. It is asking us to take a look at the ways that we have shaped direction and purpose and possibility in our lives from our childhood. Were you somebody who marched to the beat of their own drum? I'm seeing the Lost Boys from Peter Pan dancing around the fire and telling all these stories. And it's like when you were a kid, you believed all of the magic, but something challenged that. And you became the helper, but you stopped accepting help. It wasn't that it wasn't offered, but it wasn't offered in the way that you help others, or it wasn't offered in the way that you actually needed it. It was offered in a way that came off very self-serving for the person offering help. Like, I'll help you if, I'll help you but. It was always qualified. It was always a requirement of some sort of return, and the return always had to come before the help. It was as though the world used you and really, really shifted the way that you view help, asking for help, receiving help. And this has spread into even to the point of your spirit guides, where they're like you work and you work and you work and you do all of this and you do all of this personal growth and personal development, and you go and you go and you go and you go and you go, until you break. And when you break, that's when you ask for help. You don't ask for help going into it. You don't ask for somebody to be with you, to guide you, to lead you in the beginning. You do all of this and then you come forward and you say, do you see what I have done? Will you please help me now? It's like you feel like you have to earn help. And this Mercury retrograde is asking you to face the things that have happened in the past that have created this, because it has turned into a fear of being unworthy of help, of not knowing how to ask for help, of not knowing how to ask for help without qualifying what you have already done, what you are doing, and what you will do in the future. Sometimes it just comes down to saying, I can't do this on my own. Can you please help me? I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. And Mercury retrograde is asking you to see the areas in your life in which you do this, to move through those and understand that we're all here to work together, to learn how to reach a hand down for somebody else and to pull them up as we are on the top. And if we have reached our hand up and someone has promised help and it's fallen through, or their help was self-serving in nature and therefore it wasn't true, genuine help, this Mercury retrograde is helping you uncover that. It's helping you see that in your life. It's helping you learn how to reshape your perspective on what you are capable of by walking away from the quote-unquote help that you were once seeking before. To understand that way of help is not your way. And sometimes we have to understand and realize that before we are able to continue to grow. It's getting that back down to the root. And like I said, a lot of this feels very tied to your childhood. So let's get some messages from the cards, as they have been eagerly awaiting the channeling that I was doing. Okay, Mercury, can we maybe not give them a huge group? Okay. We have the 5 of Wands and the 10 of Cups. Yeah, see, and this is what I was talking about. So the 5 of Wands in this deck especially, which I absolutely love, it almost looks as though they're actually genuinely trying to help each other. But everybody is climbing and fighting and trying to get up to the light at the top, because they see the light at the top as this true happiness. And it's asking you to see that there's a difference between competition and competitiveness and comparison and challenging each other. There's a difference between those aspects. You and a friend can really challenge each other, like, hey, I'm going to do this. Why don't you do something similar, and we'll compare and contrast. But it's not about who is better than the other one. It's about how we can help fuel each other moving forward, how we can help each other to grow, to change, to learn, to find abundance, find joy, find happiness. But first you have to see that the world is not your enemy, that your friends are not your enemies, that your enemies are not going to hinder you, and that it's okay to ask for help. Okay, this one really wanted to come out. The King of Wands. Was there a male teacher, a coach, a father figure, or a father in your life who taught you that you were thinking wrong, you did things wrong, you just were wrong, or tried to really, really force a different way of doing things or seeing things or thinking about things onto you to the point that it impacted your emotions? And then we have Strength. So this feels like this feels like an imbalance between masculine and feminine energy. Some of you may have a lot of Leo energy. just because I'm seeing the lions here, okay, somehow there's this sense that something that you learned was that in order to be happy, in order to have your joy, in order to have your happiness, it was going to be a battle, no matter how you cut it. Personal growth doesn't have to be a challenge. It's not a competition. I was just talking about my best friend. Talking to my best friend about this yesterday. She had called me for Mother's Day, and we were talking about, the perspectives on different things going on in the world, but also people's perspectives of this is what I've been through, and that makes it puts me on this stepping stone or this pedestal because I've experienced worse. And the thing is I will always say I have experienced just about anything that you can list, you can name. I have experienced it in some way, shape, or form. But it's not about that being super special. Hell, if I never experienced trauma, I would be a happy camper too. It's what I signed up for in this life. It's what I have gone through. It's whatever. But I say that because I can relate. I can understand. I can empathize. Now, if somebody's saying, well, you think you've had it bad, look at what I've been through. I've done this. I've done that. But it's them saying the things that they've been through, but they're not talking about the growth that they've had, the growth that they've gone through. Something or multiple things in your life now are mirroring what happened in your childhood. In this, it feels very strongly like it's in this way to challenge whether you are worthy of having happiness, having a happy family, having love, having your dreams, doing what you want, doing what you love, just having those good times. And it is an imbalance within you that needs to be rebalanced. And this Mercury retrograde is here to help teach you how to rebalance your masculine and your feminine, learning how to bridge the two together. It's like, the Leo energy makes more sense now. Okay, so the Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun is all about how we bring ourselves to the world. But Leo is, the mythology of it is the Nemean lion. And when she wears this lion face, her own fears are her biggest weakness. Just like the lion was, Hercules was coming up against the lion because it was one of his 12 tests. And the lion got scared. And that's what happened. That's how the lion was defeated. It was scared, so it retreated to its cave. That was how Hercules was able to defeat the lion. And so the fear led it to withdraw, to hide away, and it was conquered that way. As the lion came out, it couldn't be harmed. It couldn't be harmed. Its skin was impenetrable. But its fear was also there. There was no vulnerability. There was no true intimacy in this lion's life. When Hercules defeated the lion, the only way to get the lion's skin off, which was impenetrable from any weapon imaginable, was to take the lion's own claw and cut the skin off. So what this is saying is, in order to really find the balance between your masculine and your feminine, you have to understand that your fears are your biggest enemy. Your fear surrounding asking for help, surrounding learning something new, surrounding being true to yourself, surrounding your own personal growth. Those fears are what are hindering you from actually fulfilling your path in life. When you learn that you are the one who has the power to take this barrier that you have put up off, to cut it off, and to allow yourself to be seen, to be heard, to be yourself, to be gentle yet strong. When you do that, that's when this competition energy stops doing that autoplay in the background. So how do we get there? Mercury, how can pile 1 get there? Okay. Okay. We have card 11 with balancing act. Card 26 with deep freeze, and another freaking lion, you guys. Like, no lie, you guys, like, I don't know if you're a Leo, but man, if you're not, it's time for you to really harness some Leo energy. It's time for you to really be like, I am going to be the lion, but understand that it was the lion's own fear. All right, and then we have number 17 with Ghostlands. This is okay, Ghostlands. Oh my gosh. Seriously, look, we've got Cancer and then we've got Leo on the Ghostlands card. Maybe some of you guys watch Lexi the Leo. For some reason, I'm picking up energy of hers. So it may be that some of you watch her channel. I don't want to be too presumptuous and be like, hey, maybe she's here. That'd be really cool. But there's this balancing act that you have to find with who you are and what you're doing. And the Ghostlands is telling you that the truest nature of who you are feels frozen. It's Leo energy is fire energy, but it feels frozen to me. It's like you don't know how to shine your light in the world. You don't necessarily, it's not necessarily not knowing how to shine your light. It's like you were never a student of yourself. So you never really learned how to be you. You learned how to be who you were meant to be, or who you were told you were meant to be, who you were told you had to be. All of these things. And so the truest nature of who you are, this strong, passionate, beautiful, and at the same time gentle person who knows when to move and who knows when to rest and who knows everything and doesn't question it and doesn't fear it, that person is frozen right now because they're frozen in the past. The Ghostlands is about looking to the past, looking behind you. Some of you may have been born June 17th, May 17th, somewhere between May and June 17th. That would not make you a Leo, but you may have a Leo rising, I suppose. But there's something in that date range that I'm feeling. Even as far as July 17th, which still wouldn't make you a Leo, but it could make you a Leo rising. 17, just something about 17. Maybe it was at the age of 17 is when you dealt with this. There's something stuck. I can't even quite put my finger on it because of this deep freeze card. Okay, in the Ghostlands card, you can see there's two doorways. I'm really struggling with this, which doesn't surprise me because this is a Mercury retrograde reading, so bear with me here. But there's something stuck, and it's like it's split in two, but it wasn't ever meant to split in two. When will spring come? When will I see? When will I know? Trigger warning. Did someone or did some of you have like a really toxic relationship when you were 17? You didn't know what toxicity was. You like, it was what taught you what toxic was. The reason why I said trigger warning is it would have been abusive. It would have been horribly abusive. And you fought. You fought back. There was a point in which you fought back. And it did not end well for you. That I'm seeing some pretty graphic images I'm not going to share. But it was the first and last time it was ever that bad, is what I heard. Is what I feel. But it's like you split yourself. You split yourself. That would be the two doors and the lion with the woman's face. You split yourself. And you didn't realize that you did it. It's not like, don't worry, it's not like DID or anything like that, or what we call multiple personality disorder. It's not dissociative identity disorder. You split between what you believe of yourself and what you tell yourself you believe of yourself. You shut down any truth of your self-worth. And even though you may have been working on overcoming it, it's still not, you're not hearing it's like subliminal messaging. You created a subliminal track, and it has led you down a road of, I can't ever ask for help because this one time I asked for help, I ended up this way. This is what happened. So you shut down this sense of, I want to be in the world. I want to be seen. I know who I am. I know my strength. And your fears shut you down and froze you in life. There's a part of you that is literally frozen back during that time. And Mercury Retrograde is crossing over in an area in your life that wherever it is that you're at, it's helping you to unfreeze it. It's helping you to unfreeze it so that you can understand that the delicate balance of everything depends on the truest nature of your heart. And it's time for your heart to be thawed. It's time for those pieces to come out, and it's time for you to realize that you have grown because of it, through it, and it's time to let it go so that you can actually be who you are. Not who anyone else tells you that you are, but who you are. Not what that one person did back then. Because no, you did not deserve it. No, it was not your fault. No, you weren't asking for it. And it wasn't because you asked for help. And it is okay to acknowledge that fear now. It is okay to come forward and say, I am ready to heal this. Your life will change, but it will change for the better, and you will have nothing to fear of anyone else. Can I get one message from the dragons, Mercury, just to close up? This got way heavier than I thought it would. All right. We have the Emerald Dragon. Brings in healing and cosmic abundance. Good fortune is coming. Let your thoughts support your divine perfection. Align with your fifth dimensional blueprint. This right here. This is what I said. Because you are ready to heal. You're ready to heal so that you can see that your worth is not tied to what happened in the past. It's tied to who you are at your core, at your essence. And it's time for that to heal now. For you to come forward and to be seen and to be heard and to be joyful and happy and have everything that you want and have that beautiful balance between the masculine and the feminine energies in your life. Knowing that it's okay to harness the masculine energies. It's okay to be receptive in the feminine energies, and you aren't going to be hurt anymore. You don't have to be afraid. Pile 1, this, as all my readings seem to do these days, went way more in depth than I thought it would. But I do want to tell you all that I love you and I am very grateful for you. I believe in you, and I truly hope that this Mercury retrograde brings you all of the internal insight and that you are able to hear the messages from your higher self, from your guides, from everyone that will help you move through this. I know you can. I know you will. I believe in you. And I am here to help you. You didn't even have to ask. All right, pile 1. I want to first say thank you so much to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection here. I want to say thank you to Spirit for my gifts that I get to so beautifully share with the world, that I am ever so grateful for the abundance of and the sharing of. And I want to say thank you so much to you, pile 1, for being here, for continuing, for moving forward, for never giving up, and for always, always, always being there for everybody else. I genuinely am so grateful for you, and I am cheering you on as you learn to be there for yourself. If this video resonated, please hit the like button up in the corner, share it with your friends, comment down in the comment section below, you know, all the fun stuff. Hit the subscription button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you will get notified for all of my upcoming videos. And down in the description box are all of my links, links to my author page, links to my program with the 75% off discount that is still running through the month of May until June 1st. And you just have to use the coupon code Eclipse and get 75% off of my self-help program. It would be a great one for you guys throughout this Mercury retrograde. It will help teach you how to speak to yourself. If you would like to donate or book a personal reading with me, all of those links are in the description box below. Thank you again so much, pile 1. I love you guys. I will see you again soon. Bye. Hello, pile 2. So we're going to get directly into it. I'm going to tell you, first of all, as I was shuffling your cards, I was hearing, what would you do for a Klondike bar? And I was like, what in the world is this? And I started thinking about the Mandela effect and how there was this false Mandela effect that went around saying, well, they changed the Klondike bar song. But really what it was they were focusing on what came in the beginning, and they didn't play the full song. So because they didn't play the full song, they weren't able to, or it was a false Mandela effect. So there is that, and I will help tie that in. The other thing that came through was this overwhelming sadness in my heart and in the pit of my stomach. And I keep hearing Sheryl Crow's the first cut is the deepest. Baby, I'll try to love again, but I know the first cut is the deepest. And what I feel like this Mercury retrograde is saying is there's some fear about losing things, losing people, whether it's them walking away, you having to walk away, somebody dying, some sort of loss. It's not quite abandonment, but it's like that very first one that you felt has cut you so deep, and all you can do is look at the very beginning, but you don't see all of the progress that has been made to the end. And that's where that Klondike bar reference came in. So when they created the Mandela effect, they were looking at the opening stanza of it, the very beginning of the song, but they weren't playing the full song. The more that you focus on this very beginning of something or other, of how things went, or anything like that, but you don't see the full journey that you've been on, the more that fear takes hold and takes over and flies forward and keeps going through your life. So I don't have any more specifics than that. I feel like this kind of resistance, and nausea right now, I don't know if I want to hear this, but I think I need to. Don't worry, this is a safe space for you. And I will do my best to deliver the messages for you as much as I can in the midst of the day before Mercury retrograde. So let's find out. We're going to go battling our fears. It says, a boggart is a creature that takes on the appearance of the thing the person fears the most. Fortunately, they can be defeated by a simple spell, ridiculous, which will force the boggart to turn into something the wizard finds amusing instead. What would your boggart be? What shape would you force it to turn into if you could cast a ridiculous spell? Oh, I'm sorry, I did not mean to yawn. A ridiculous spell. I'm going to move that up there in case you want to screenshot it. But you guys were my guys that my pile that I was channeling before, where I was yawning continually as the energy moved in. There is something about not wanting to slow down, not wanting to rest. There's a fear about, if I don't keep going, this is going to be the situation. What is it that you're afraid of? Your biggest fear, there's something surrounding loss with it. We're going to get into the experiencing loss cards before we continue moving forward, but there's this strong sense of you already know what it is. You know what it is, but you don't know how to transform it using the spell. You don't know how to turn it into something that's amusing, because there's nothing about it that's amusing. It's painful. It hurts. It was loss. It was a crumbling. And you don't know how to transform it. So let's figure out how to do that together today. The ones that love us never really leave us, and you can always find them in here. Sirius Black, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Do you have someone whom you keep dear in your heart? Does their memory touch the way you love your life? Now, you live your life, not love your life, but maybe that was a slip of the tongue for a reason. Maybe this is how you actually allow yourself to love life. How could I possibly allow myself to love my life without this person in it? If this person is gone, how can I allow myself to love? And you know what, guys? I quite literally tattooed that saying on my arm with the phases of the moon, because I have experienced deep losses in my life, and I needed to feel that connection in one way or another. But I was living in the past. I was living in the loss. I was living in the moment of things shattering, things falling apart. And as I was doing that, it was preventing me from allowing myself to live my life. You're not alone. Just because somebody is not here with you anymore does not mean that they have left you. And if somebody has left you in the physical sense of leaving you, the love that you had mattered. It mattered. It may not have been right. It may not have been right for forever, but it did matter, and so do you. And the love that you gave was important. So we have, do not pity the dead, Harry. Pity the living, and above all, those who live without love. Professor Dumbledore, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2. People who live without love experience loss every day. It robs their lives of connection, support, joy, and meaning. We can counteract this by spreading love as often as we can. Today, do something to bring a little more love into the world. Whether it's a small act like hugging a friend or a larger action like volunteering for a charity, any act of love can only have a positive effect on the world around us. And this 100% is why I've had a song stuck in my head for a week. I have had the song Little Bit of Love by Weezer stuck in my head for a week, to the point that it actually came through in a previous reading. I believe it was from Messages from Your Ancestors, and it's a little bit of love goes a really long way. But what I was saying before was that whatever loss you've experienced, it's preventing you from allowing yourself to live your life. And it's because you feel alone, you feel abandoned, you feel as though, what I am picking up is, you feel as though a life was taken and robbed, and your life was robbed, and your life should have been the one that was taken, which I'm sorry, but no. Please don't think that way, and if you do, I'm not a medical professional, but I do encourage you to please seek medical help, medical support, medical advice. You are needed in this world, and it's not your fault that somebody left. For those of you where this is actually a physically leaving, somebody walked out the door and did not come back, and you have held on to that fear, whether you were a small child and your mother walked out the door and abandoned your family, and you could not fathom how that was possible, because moms don't leave their kids. Moms don't leave their kids. What, how was this possible? You may, or it could be your father left and you don't understand because you were daddy's favorite, and how could daddy be gone? Whatever it is, it could even be in a marriage that you're in or that you were in, where the person just left, found somebody new and left, and you don't understand because you've given your all to this. And there's no explanation, there's no closure, and it's created this fear that people are just going to walk out of your life. They're just going to walk away. And because of that, you've kept yourself small. You've kept yourself from really living. And you're using the argument that, well, this is how I feel it's right for me. This is what my intuition is. Some of you are using your intuition. Whoa. Okay, hang on. Some of you are using your intuition, or you think that you're using your intuition, and it's not. It's your fear. So your fear is saying, well, this is what my guides are saying, or this is what my intuition is leading me down. And it's your fear. It's kind of like when I stopped writing, and I kept saying over and over and over again to my husband, well, this is what I'm doing now, and if writing is meant to be, it'll come back. Over and over and over, I would say that because in reality, I was being driven by fear, telling me I wasn't good enough, I wasn't worthy enough, I couldn't do it again. All of these negative things is what my fear was saying. And I had to face that. I had to conquer that. I had to overcome it. Every single time I sit down to write something new, to sit down and write a new book. I have 4 books published. Every new book, I still feel the same way. Because it matters. Because it's that important to me. Because it's my dream. It's my goal. It's my hope, is to be a world famous New York Times bestselling author. That's what I want for my life. Every time I sit here to make these videos, I feel this sense of like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's not the right time. It's Mercury Retrograde, so is this even going to work? my fear tells me all of these things in order to try to hinder me from living the fullness of my life. And why? Because I have fears. Your fear is that if you live fully, if you live your life fully, that you'll be left behind by the people that you love. It's not even that you will have to leave people behind. It's that they'll leave you. They'll look at what you're doing and be like, you're crazy. That's not right. Whatever. You are afraid to leave safety and security behind. You're afraid that it's never going to pan out. You're afraid to allow yourself to live because of something that has happened in the past. And you're living in that past moment so consistently that you can't see beyond it. Now, I know this is coming off harsh, but your guide team is like right here and saying it's time for you to hear this and to see this. And Mercury is really genuinely trying to get you to understand that your brain is playing tricks on you. That your mind is telling you that you're hearing your heart, but your heart is screaming at your mind to shut the F up. You guys have like a feisty heart. I love it. So we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, these are all reversed. No, they weren't. Okay. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I don't read reversals. Okay. I heard you. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. The World card in reverse. The Six of Swords and the Two of Swords. Okay, you guys know I don't read reversals. But of course you guys would get reversals. This is literally like you're preventing the seeds from taking. Whatever you want to grow, whatever it is that you want to bring, you're the one holding it back from the world. You're holding yourself back from the world. And it is because you have to move beyond the mindset of being able to predict everything. Of being able to say, okay, I need to be able to know this factor and this factor and this factor and this factor, because it's not always going to be that way. When you are moving from your heart, when you are moving through intuition, you're never going to be able to accurately 100% predict exactly what's going to happen. And the more that you allow yourself to believe that you will 100% always do that, the more you're going to find that you're blinding yourself to your own worth, to your own potential, to your own truth, to your own ability. The world is literally like Saturn in retrograde. Saturn in retrograde is a review process. It is a review process for us to learn again. We do these reviews, but at the end of the review, Saturn goes direct again, and it's time to move forward. Okay? This is the energy of what this is saying. Review these things in the past, but do not live there. At the end of the review, when you have truly dug down deep, exposed the roots of it, and seen it for what it was, at the end of that, it is time to move on so that you no longer blind yourself to your own potential, and you're not going to know where you're moving on to. You're not supposed to. This is about trust. You don't trust because you feel like you're going to be abandoned. You don't trust because you feel like you're going to lose. You don't trust because you don't know how to lead yourself first and foremost. And this is literally saying, follow the leader. Follow your truth. Follow your heart. Follow your intuition. And really ask yourself, is this something that my intuition would say? Would my intuition hold me back from living my dreams? Really? Really? Because your intuition and your heart 100% will want you to live the life of your dreams. It will never hold you back. It will lead you where you need to be. It will lead you where you need to go. It will bring you to the understanding and the awarenesses that you need. It's what brought you here today. Your intuition and your heart brought you here today. It wasn't your mind. It was your intuition and your heart. because it's something within this is something that you need to hear. It's something to help break through the cloudiness within your mind so that you don't feel like you're being attacked by all of these what ifs and illusions and anxiety brain. We've got 35 with education and 13 with solitude. I mean, just because something happened in the past does not mean that it is doomed to repeat itself. When you educate yourself, when you learn what happened in the past, when you allow yourself to look at it, to see the roots and to understand it, when you do that, you learn and you grow through it so it does not repeat itself. So, there's something about community and somebody recently watched The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Seeing the lamppost and I'm thinking spare room. Do you have a spare room in your house? Maybe it's a guest room. Maybe it has clutter in it. Maybe it's something, whatever it is, that spare room is calling. An attic, perhaps. I'm seeing somebody laying on their house on the roof and staring at the stars. You want to learn about yourself, but you don't know how to start. You don't know how to lead your own path. But you don't need to shut the world off. You don't need to live in solitude alone and away from everybody. You don't need to put your dreams in a box, put them in the spare room. Now I'm seeing Monica from Friends and her closet, her secret shame closet, that is just filled so full with a disaster, but it's a disaster that she even has organized. But my point is your dreams are somewhere in that disaster and it's time for you to take them out. You know what you need to know. You know enough to know not to follow anybody else, but to follow yourself. You know enough to know that you are worthy of love. It's time to come out of solitude. It's time to pull your dreams out of that closet you shoved them in and brush them off. So we have the green dragon. Helps you tune into the secrets of nature. Receive answers and guidance from nature. Align with your divine essence. Yeah. Okay, so there is a key here. And I think about the Five of Pentacles card. Where I feel locked out, alone, abandoned. That is what the card is. And she doesn't see she's got a key right next to her for this. Some of you just need some sleep. Like some of you need sleep. You feel very cloudy all of a sudden. Very foggy. Maybe some of you have been following someone else's lead for far too long. And it's time for you to take a step back and allow yourself to sit alone and see the truth of everything. If you step away, people aren't just going to drop out of your life. They're not just going to leave you. They're not just going to abandon you because you did what was right for you. And if somebody attacks you over it, or if somebody wrongs you for doing what is right for you, are they really somebody you want in your life? The ones that love us never really leave us. Don't pity the dead, pity the living, and especially those who live without love. You're not dead inside. You didn't die when somebody else died. You didn't die when somebody walked away from you. You didn't. And anger has no place in any of this, because anger is literally fear manifested outward. This is you learning how to laugh and learning how to say, okay, I'm done. I'm going to listen to Mother Nature, and I am going to rest when it's necessary, and I'm going to move when it's necessary, and I'm going to let myself be guided by a truer essence than my own fear. And it's 22:22 on the clock. But this is definitely about your safety and your security, and trusting yourself in the world, trusting your place in the world, trusting your role in the world, and trusting the actions that you take in the world, because it's right for you. It's right for you. You don't have to keep living in the past. You don't have to live in that one moment of pain. Let yourself feel the joy and the love and the gratitude and the abundance that is flowing all around you. And trust that when you move from your intuition, your actual intuition, that you may not see where you're going, but it is where you're meant to go. And you know what? When I said that, it just started downpouring. I don't think you guys can hear that, but I can hear the pitter-patter of the rain. So, pile 1, this is all I'm seeing for you. Pile 2, I apologize. Pile 2, you may have some messages in pile 1. Pile 2, this is all I am seeing for you. So I wanted to say thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection here today. Thank you to Spirit for my beautiful gifts that I am able to share with the world freely, with free-flowing love. Thank you to Mercury for being here and helping guide me through sharing what lessons are going to be learned. And I want to say thank you so much to you, Pile 1. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being open to listening to these messages and to continuing to try and to work and to move forward. Thank you. You make the world better. You do. If this video resonated, please feel free to like it, share it, subscribe to my channel, hit the little notification bell up in the corner, and comment below. Let me know how you're doing. I worry about you guys. If you guys are interested in my books or my course or donating or even booking a personal reading, all of the links to everything is down in the description box. You guys can go ahead and check it out. So thank you again, Pile 2. I love you all. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. So as I mentioned in the intro, in case you missed it, this is all about what fears we're battling based off of Mercury Retrograde, the lessons that Mercury is teaching us about communication within. I feel a lot of kind of with you guys, this man, Mercury Retrograde must be hitting you guys hard, and we're not even into it yet. There is this distracted energy. I want to be on my phone. I want to be looking at this. I don't want to look at what I want to do. I don't want to look at who I am. I don't want to look at who the world says I am. I want to look at other people. That's the energy that I'm getting from you guys. It's this fear of really owning who you are. The good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, all of it. Just owning who you are, owning what you've done to other people, but owning what has been done to you, and then just saying, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to choose who I am right here, right now. And it doesn't matter what my identity is, because I'm not going to label myself. I'm just going to choose to be me. There's a sense that you don't want to identify something in your life, and you're running as far and as fast as you can from it in fear. So let's get into it, because I'm intrigued by you guys. So battling our fears, it says, but happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. Professor Dumbledore, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. What brings you happiness when you are experiencing your darkest moments? And I'm going to go ahead and move this so you guys can take a look at the words, and if you want to screenshot it so that you can come back to that question or journal about it, that go ahead and do that. And so identity. In Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Harry becomes known as the Chosen One, a moniker he earns when it is prophesied that he is the only wizard capable of defeating Lord Voldemort. After everything Harry has been through, he courageously accepts this role as his duty and works with Professor Dumbledore to discover the truth about Voldemort's Horcruxes. Have you ever had a job or a role thrust upon you that you would have preferred not to accept? How did you handle the situation? Did it change how you thought about yourself? There you guys go. All right. So, the first thing that I thought about was parenting. Especially with this job or role thrust upon you that you would have preferred not to accept. Parenting. I became a parent when I was 16. And it was something that I didn't really get a choice on. You know, I had made my mistakes and somebody else had made some mistakes. And there we were, parents. And I could have gone a different way. I could have abandoned her. I could have given her up for adoption, but I didn't. I chose to keep her. I chose to be her mom. As a child, I chose to become an adult. I chose that, but it did feel very much as though it was the only choice I had. In the beginning, I didn't handle it well. Am I proud of it? No. Did I allow myself to see it? Yes. Did I change? Yes. So we can go through these situations where somebody sees us in a light, like, okay, with my gifts, I know with my gifts, when I share them in interpersonal relationships, there is this tendency, if somebody is broken or in a shadow state, to cling to me, to my gifts, to what I have to offer to them. They cling to that and they want it more and more and more and more. And if I don't deliver, then I'm the bad guy. It's a savior complex. People have a savior complex around me. You know why? Because I have a fixer complex. But I am not here to fix the world. I am not here to save anybody. I'm here to heal myself, to become more aware, and to help others by sharing my truths, my lessons, my wisdom, my gifts. I do these things freely. Which means it's all about how you choose to see the darkness within yourself, but also the darkness within other people. How you see, maybe you are put into the role of the fixer. And you don't want to be the fixer. You don't want to fix this shit. Like, I feel so much like almost sarcasm. You guys are so my energy for when I wrote something spiritually catchy, because I'm telling you guys, the first like 2 drafts of that book had so much profanity in it that my mother could not read it, because I had enough. I had enough of people putting me into this position or that position or this opinion of who I am, and trying to limit me and trying to say that this is what I have to do and this is who I have to be. Nobody gets to tell you what your role in your life or in your world is but you. Each and every one of us, and this is my belief 100%, each and every one of us on a soul level sat down. We sat down with our guide team. We sat down with spirit and we said, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to experience. I understand that in order to get to this experience, I have to go through this. This is the plan. This is what I want to do. And we all signed off on it. And so now we're on this crazy journey together. But that's what I feel like is the truth. So whatever role I'm in my life is one that I chose to be put into. But nobody gets to put me in a role. I just heard nobody puts baby in the corner. And you know what? I think I've seen Dirty Dancing maybe once in my life. And that's it. Maybe once. I can quote it, but I don't know it. The point here is, don't let somebody put you in the corner. Don't let somebody toss you into a boxing ring to do a fight for them that is, it's their fight to fight. Like, don't fight for somebody else. Don't fight someone else's fight, because number one, it's not your battle. Number two, you are actually detracting from their own personal growth. And so sometimes we have to fight somebody else's battles. Sometimes we give a voice to something because we know that it needs a voice and we can set the example. Sometimes somebody expects us to do something for them, to battle something for them, because they will not do it for themselves. But it is not your job to do it for them. There are so many examples I could give here that I have had parallels in my life, but there's this sense that who you are is not defined by the darknesses within other people. It isn't. Like, and there has been it feels like there's this long history of other people's darknesses determining your belief in yourself and your guides, and Mercury especially is coming in and saying it's time for you to see how you talk to yourself when it comes to these situations, whatever they are, because it's going to be different for everybody. But whatever they are, they fire you up. You get this like, I'm going to react. I'm going to do something. And then you don't. It's not prim. It's not proper. It's not the way that it's supposed to be. And you're supposed to be this person and that person. It's not about not reacting necessarily. Like, of course, we don't want to be in a reactive state. But it's about learning the difference between action and reaction, and knowing how to take action with clarity and firmness. Some of you are holding on to something. You're holding on to a truth. You're holding on to a concept, a theory, an understanding, an awareness, something that you're here to share with the world. You're holding on to it because you're afraid of what will change in your life if you do this. You're afraid of what other people will think, and you're afraid of how it will change your role in the world. And I say that because all of a sudden my throat just felt jammed up. There is a truth you're holding on to. There is an apology you're holding on to. There is an FU you're holding on to. There's a lot that I'm sensing. You'll know which one it is that you're holding on to, or which ones. But you can't keep reveling in this darkness. You have to turn the light on for yourself and realize that you're the one that's going to make everything happen in your life. You are meant to be the lead role in your life, but you're not meant to have other people tell you what it is that you have to do, or who you are, or what it is that you owe to them. You don't owe them anything. Even if you feel like you do. We are all on our own journey, which means that we all have to learn how to go through this journey. And yes, we can help each other. We can lend to each other. I just saw 11:11 on my clock. We can lend a hand to each other. We can lend advice to each other. We can help each other speak the truth. I just saw 11:22. You guys must be like repeating numbers a lot. We can be there collaborating and cooperating and as friends. And I just saw 11:33. I gotta stop looking at the clock, guys. Anyway, maybe that's your problem. You're wondering, when is this all going to change? When am I going to be who I'm meant to be? But you can work with other people without having to take care of everything for them, without having to be defined by them. And we're all meant to work together because we are all interconnected and we are all one, but we are all unique. And this is the only life we get as who we are in this life, which means you have every right to be the light in your own darkness, to be the light for your own darkness, and to stand up and say, this is what I want, and this is how I believe I am, and I am capable of, and I am worthy of. And you have been holding yourself back for so long, for so long that it's almost as if you don't even see the darkness anymore. Let's take a look at your cards. We have the Two of Cups. This is what I'm talking about, learning how to work together harmoniously. It's not about me versus you, or me doing everything for you, or that person doing, like, there are no roles in this situation. In this situation, there is only teammates. There's only partnerships. There is only equals. Then we have the Empress, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Six of Swords. Okay, the Six of Swords, that's been coming in a lot. The Six of Swords, so this Mercury retrograde is really helping you to figure out what your values are, what your beliefs are about your relationships, about when you work together, not just with your working partners or your husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or partner or spouse or anything like that, but with spirit, with yourself, with all the pieces of who you are. It's Mercury retrograde is going to help you understand how you see your ability to work and flow in the world in harmony, to bring things together, to bridge them together creatively, to share your values, to share your worth, to share your beauty and your abundance with the world, and to really live the life that you want. It is not a bad thing if you desire material things in this world. If you're living a spiritual life and you say, I really want this house, I really want this car, I want whatever, I want to go on this 5-star vacation. If that's what you want, if that's what your heart desires, there's nothing wrong with that. It's about knowing that you want that because of the experience of it, but not because you want to be better than somebody else. You want to experience a certain way of life. And it's okay for you to acknowledge that you want to experience this way of life and not feel ashamed of it, and not be afraid that that is you just living in your shadow, living in greed, living in jealousy, living in gluttony. That's not the case. And Mercury really wants you to understand that the gods lived in opulence, but they still gave and gave and gave and gave to people. They taught people, they showed people, they interacted with them. Granted, they weren't always the best, and we understand that, but everybody makes mistakes. We all make mistakes. We all do. The gods are not, they are not any different. They make mistakes too. I don't, like, whatever religion or faith or belief you are, there, in my opinion, even spirit has a shadow side. If spirit didn't have a shadow side, we wouldn't have a devil concept. So everything has a shadow, which means that everything can react and act in the wrong way. Sometimes the worst things in the world that we see, that we understand, are because they exist in the spiritual plane, and we have to learn how to heal through them. So this Mercury retrograde is literally helping you move away from the things that you tell yourself that you have to do for other people, or that you have to be for other people, or the role that you're meant to play in your life, because you feel ashamed or fearful that people will shame you for wanting the things that you want. Let yourself want what you want. So we have commitment, number 36. You are my overcommitting. You're in my group that overcommits. You say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then you realize, dude, that's a big task. And you feel like you can't do it. And it's time for you to realize that if you have committed to something for yourself, if it's for you, it's not wrong. But commit to your dreams. Like Pluto, not Pluto. I apologize. Maybe there's something with Pluto and Pluto's retrograde. I do have a Pluto retrograde guidebook, link in the description box. But something with this, there's some sort of commitment that you feel as though you're not being true to, or you're not capable of, or somebody broke with you, or you feel as though somebody says this is what you have to do, and so you have to commit to being that person. That's not the case either. I have 48 with wishing well. See, and I saw the star here, and I was thinking about star energy, but there's no star on the board. And number 30 with making a choice. So this is literally about, like I said before, this is about Mercury wanting you to see that it's okay to, it's time for you to leave behind what other people say and allow yourself to step into what is right for you. It's time for you to choose which path you want, or what you want to believe, what you want to listen to. I don't want to say choose which path to go down. And the reason why I don't want to do that is because every time I hear that, I have this instinctual fear that gets triggered where I can't walk down this path unless I'm going to give this up. And I'm sorry, but we live in an abundant universe. We live in an excessively abundant universe. It wants to give and give and give and give and give to us, but we don't know how to receive. So we need to learn how to receive. We need to learn how to work and flow together in receptivity and action. And just because we do multiple things does not mean that we are straddling between the two, or we have to choose between one or the other. That is a narrowed way of thinking, a narrowed way of believing. That is where somebody says this is the role that you are meant to play and you can't do anything else. I can be a mom and a wife. I can be a mom and I can be a free spirit. I can be a psychic and I can be an author. I can be pragmatic to a fault, and I can be so dreamy and imaginative and up in the clouds. I can be all of these things. Every single aspect of these things has a part to play in my identity. So make a choice. Are you going to listen to the words of other people? Are you going to let them dictate how you live your life and what you believe is possible? Or are you going to throw your coins in a wishing well and decide that I'm going to commit to my dreams, to my wishes, to my goals, to the things that I truly want to feel, to experience, to have in this life, and I'm not going to shy away from it or shy away or feel ashamed by the fact that these are the things that I want? Because I signed a contract with Spirit. I sat down with my guides. I sat down with Spirit, and we signed a contract, and there is a commitment with me and my soul and the universe and Spirit and my guides that this is what I'm going to experience. So you know what? I have thrown my coins in the wishing well, and I trust that by making the choice to embrace who I am and knowing that I can get out of any and every darkness imaginable, because I am a light brighter than any darkness can overcome, and I do not have to be defined by somebody else. When you do all of this and you understand all of this, boom, your life changes. Give yourself that freedom. Like, set yourself free. Mercury retrograde wants you to dig deep within yourself, to see what you're committed to see what your wishes are, and to go for it. Just go for it this time. Don't hold yourself back. Don't hesitate, but but go for it, because you are infinite. You are abundant, because you're living in an infinite and abundant world. Sorry. Mercury's tying up my tongue. All right, we have one more dragon card for you to close it out. It says Rose Pink Dragon prepares your heart to connect with the higher facets of the cosmic heart. Open your heart to warm-hearted love and diamond light. Connect with the love of the universe. The universe is abundant, and it wants to share its abundance with you. Choose you. Choose you. Choose who you want to be, what you want to do. But it's all about you. This one is about you. Mercury Retrograde is helping teach you how to speak to you, how to speak with your heart, through your heart, from your heart, for your heart, 100%. So, pile 3. First of all, the rain just picked up again, and it is downpouring, and it sounds almost like hail. So this is massive levels of confirmation of like, yep. Again, Ducky. Were you guys in my pile where I said I am hearing Ducky from The Land Before Time? Yep. I just picked that up again. Go watch that movie. Maybe there's something in there. Something about that, the starleaf, the wishing starleaf or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a hot minute. Anyway, pile 3. Again, distractions. Please don't let yourself get distracted. Let yourself be true to you. I believe in you guys. Thank you so much for being here, pile 3s. Man, this reading was so... It was so great. I felt like I was all over the place, and at the same time, I felt this strong, like, yeah, energy from you guys, and I'm really proud of you for being here, for listening, for hearing this, for letting it pump you up and letting it move you forward, and being willing to work with Mercury, because he's a pretty awesome planet to work with. So thank you to my guides and your guides for facilitating this connection. Thank you to Spirit for my wonderful, amazing blessings and gifts that I get to share with the world. Thank you so much, pile 3, for being here. Thank you to Mercury for these messages. And I want to say thank you again. I just feel this excitement for you guys. So, yeah, you guys are amazing. If this video resonated, please hit the like button. Feel free to share it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell up in the corner so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And go down to the description box, check the links to my authorial page, and there you'll find that Pluto retrograde book that I was talking about, as well as links to my program, Breaking Boundaries, Finding Freedom, with a coupon code of Eclipse for 75% off, which is a big deal, and it is available until June 1st, as well as links to donate to my channel and or book a personal reading with me. All right, you know what, you guys, I loved this energy. I love this pile. My pile 3s, you guys are always just such a surprise, such a shift and change in energies in one way or another, and always just so there. Like, just there. You're like, I'm ready for this. It's time for this. And I love it. Take no shit, pile 3. All right. Thank you again, you guys. I love you all. I will see you next time. Bye.